Hello everyone, and welcome back to Sound Equals Concept Remastered Live. Welcome. I'm Alex, and if you were here last time, today we are working on the second track on Sound Equals Concept Journey theme. If you weren't here last time we worked on the first track, remastering it, and now we're going to jump right into remastering the second track. So Journey theme follows up the narrative in the album. Each track tells the next step in the story, right? So let's actually just bounce straight into Logic. I actually, since last week, have upgraded some technical things. Hopefully I'm a little bit louder. I noticed my audio was pretty quiet, so I found a way. I think my audio should be okay. Yeah, and I have music in the introduction. That's nice. I got that working. And let's pop over to Logic. Here's our session for Journey theme. And let's just double check that you can hear the Logic audio. So let me know if you can hear this. Alright, I'm going to check my playback and just make sure everything's running smoothly. Hang in there. Thank you everyone for joining me, and we'll get started in just a moment. Aha! We have audio. It works. Sweet. So here's the session. This is Journey theme. If you haven't heard it before, that was also the intro music. It's a fun intro, I think. So yeah, here is Journey theme. I think one of the distinguishing parts, and I guess it's ironic to call it distinguishing, is their lead melody is very similar in my mind to Town theme, which, if you don't know, we worked on last time. I'll solo it here. And it's supposed to work sort of like a motif, continuing that on. Oh, thank you. Glad I got that working. I had some weird technical things to get around to get that working, but glad it's good, and I'm glad that I'm not clipping out, because that's usually the problem when you try to turn up your audio. So like Town theme, and like a lot of Sound Equals Concept, this riff carries through a lot of the song. So you can see, even as it changes instruments, this is a little break. I love this harp part. I've been meaning to maybe mimic that feel another time. I noticed that this track also has some bass on it, which I had forgotten about. But this is actually really high up bass. I love doing bass high up, because I think it has a nice tone. But you can hear. So that's another element of it. So let's start with trimming down all this dead air at the end. Not sure why all of that is there, and I'll make sure to leave a little space at the end just to make sure that we have a nice fade. Oh, there's another detail. There's a particular preset called Below the Surface Piano that I quite like. It's kind of a specific sound, but it's nice. Right? Really echoey, really reverby. And it plays this lead melody because the next track, the third track, is called Cave Theme, and it has this piano as like the main part. So the transition, the beginning starts out pretty similar to Town Theme, but it ends pretty similar to Cave Theme. So I think that helps keep the cohesion of everything. So as returning viewers would know, I'm going to start by color coding all the tracks. There's a Celestial Voices. That's a weird instrument. Gonna get rid of that because it doesn't look like that's playing anything. Also, I think these French horns are doing something different than they did in the original mix. I may have added those later. I don't exactly remember, so we'll figure out what those are doing soon. I really like how this bass is working. Something I noticed that I would like to work on this track is actually filling up that low end, because as I played earlier, it's very high up on the bass. And that's nice. I love that tone. So I think we'll bring in another bass, even if it's just a copy of the same instrument, to bring in more of a low tone. Just because the low end, it's a nice stylistic choice to have a really shallow low end. But I think the style of this is more suited toward a full sound. Still making sure it's dynamic, but having it feel full and complete. So this is pretty high up. It seems like a green. That's chords. Take a look at what the chords are. I said this last time. My chord theory, well, I didn't know any chord theory to begin with, so I did all of these tracks by ear, except like the very last one, or second to last one. Dance Theme, I was like right around when I started learning more things, so that one feels a little more full. It actually doesn't fit, I don't think, as well with the rest of the project, but maybe if we bring this forward with a little wider lens, we can make those fit together a little bit more. But I didn't really pay attention to the chords, so these are all done by ear, which is, nice. That's fun, but it isn't always as cohesive. So I think there's an opportunity to make things more cohesive. This is the lead part. This looks pretty much in order. Bring the strings up, bring the horns up. What do the strings play? Oops. Okay, I just play the melody. And harp in this part. Nice little counter melody. These are soloed. Okay, so that's nice. So now we have our color code and name everything. So let's just take a listen through the track and listen for, I already mentioned a few things that we can work on this time, but let's listen back through this one more time. All right, there's journey theme. So here's something I noticed first off. The drum beat is pretty active. So that's fun. And then there's some nice fills. That's not a fill, that's a normal beat. Did I hear fills and it's just the normal beat? Could have sworn there was a beat somewhere in here. Yeah, and then it simplifies in this part. Moving on, what are these? Looks like, just bouncing around the toms. So, I actually usually prefer these a little further down. That's nice. So, let's start with the bass. Started with the bass last time. If you noticed, I pulled out these French horns. I don't know what these are doing in here, but they are not. I don't love them. So let's just pull them out. Why not? So what chords we're looking at? I see another E, probably an E minor, an implied E minor, and I see a D and a C. So these line up right on our beats. The first one, we're not sure what it is. I'm gonna guess it's E, but the bass actually doesn't play that. So, but we can look at our, later on, I'm guessing these are the same. So it looks like it goes E, E, D, C. Sweet, so that's like a, kind of a variation on the Andalusian cadence. In minor, it's really missing the character chord of it, but it's like, hang on, let me see if I can do it. Oops. Oh, I'm on the wrong instrument. It's a really classic chord progression. It's kind of weird, but it works really well, so. And the character chord at the end is that minor, or the major 5, which isn't normally in minor. You'd normally have a minor 5. So it borrows from the harmonic minor. So I'm doing that, but it starts on 2 bars, the first one, and then never goes to the last one. So if we look at this, I wonder, let's keep the bass the way it is, but we can throw in another bass line, and I have an idea for how it may go. I want like a mid-range bass part. I guess this is kind of mid-range. I want a mid-range bass part to come in on the second bar, doing quarter notes, to kind of start livening up the energy. Pull that down, and we're working on an upright bass. I love upright bass so much, and it gets overshadowed by electric bass, which is personally what I play. I don't play upright bass, but it sounds so nice. So I think we'll take an opportunity to use it here. So like, and then maybe even faster and maybe higher. That's cool. Maybe up. Okay, I think it's maybe too early. What if we bring it in this part? So that this feels like really opening up. Quarter notes are just to keep the energy, whoa, going. And then I see the strings are actually playing a pretty low part. What if we make them just play the bass notes so it doesn't overcomplicate things? Like, how about like this? Not losing too much character. That's probably better. What if I pull these out? Then we're getting like some little, it's like a major third. minor third. No, that's a major third. It's messing with the track too much. Man, now I'm questioning this bass. I wonder if these are good together. That's cool. Yeah. We have a question. Do you ever use the drum machines in GarageBand, or do you only want to do everything yourself? I am a little bit picky, and I do everything myself. The drum machines, they sound so cool, but I really like programming the drums myself, especially because I play drums, so I like to program ones that I personally can play and kind of in my own style. So, yeah, I really like programming all of the instruments. I don't usually use loops. Sometimes, on Sound Equals Concept, I will say I brought in specific sound effects if it just off, like, free audio library. Just, like, I'm not good enough at synthesis, or I don't have the recording technology either, or honestly the time and patience, to get, like, a water droplet sound. Right, I have some of those on Cave Theme, so those are just like pulled from somewhere else, copyright free. But for the actual musical instruments, I really like programming things myself. Just I like the control over that. And saying that, I actually just worked on a song where it's the first time I pulled in a random. For those of you who don't know, GarageBand, and by extent Logic, has a pretty big loop library where you can just maybe super loud. Yeah, just random little bits of stuff. So if you think of, like, there's also a different drum thing, but right, just like random drum beats, which you can bring in, and that's fine. I think all of the ones in the loop library are free to use, but I don't know. I like the precision, and I like the creativity of programming them myself. And that turns out that they're a little bit messy. I think it's worth it, or not as perfectly produced. I'm just gonna jump ahead. I noticed something that I would like to tend to. It's a part around here. I feel like this arpeggio, it's not really going by the chords, right? So this is like, well, you know, it's playing on the strong beats, it's playing chord tones. Here, the third and the fifth. It's very fast, so it gets very busy, and the harp has a lot of reverb on it if you listen to it. Well, natural reverb, I guess. Natural resonance. But I feel like it's pretty busy. I wonder if this section would benefit if this harp line drops out, and just the lead part will bring it back in, but... that sounds kind of sparse. Maybe it's good enough. The one spot I think it really needs to come out is in this guitar part. Is that better? Oh, there's my fill. I knew there was a fill in here. What's this fill doing? is this fill doing? Ah, okay, so just rocking the toms, and then a crash. That's a weird fill. I don't know what I was thinking there. It's very fast, too. I'm doubting myself here. What if we... Yeah, I'm hearing like a subdivision in there. Is it just really that fast? Yeah, okay. What if it's just this? No. Ah, we can do a little Tresillo. That's not quite right. Let's try... Oh, that is very fast. Let's put a crash in this part. There it is. Okay. That's nice. I want to bring up the drums a little bit. They're a little thin right now. I was careful to mix my drums pretty low to begin with, but I think we will do more with EQ to make sure that the drums come through really well. Okay. All right. Let's pretend that sounds good for sure on the rest of everything. I noticed these chords. What are these chords doing? E, D, E. Okay, so now it's going to kind of a halftime thing, even though the bass is keeping with it. And wow, those are just kind of wide. Oh, I'm zoomed in. That's why. I think there's a cool trick. It's kind of a minimal thing, or a minimalist thing. If you really want to create tension in a bar, repeat a chord. You'd think that would stagnate it, but if you really want to build up to something, stay on like one chord, especially if it's not the one chord. If you stay on like a 4 chord, it's kind of a nice place to go for a build up. I'm liking this. And then I want to bring in the bass. We're going to make sure this sounds good before we move on. But I'm going to bring in the bass. Okay, we're getting somewhere. This is pretty high up, that's why I'm not hearing it. I wonder, maybe, we already have a really nice upright studio bass. Let's bring in a different bass. What did we use in the last one? The Dance Clean? I think it was. Maybe this one needs a little more grit. I don't know if fuzzy is probably too far. Let's try the Rock Growl. It's a favorite. Let's bring this in. This I think will pair really well with the guitar. I won't do it on there. There we go. Let's do a sustained note. What if we even do a hit on the guitar too? And that's the wrong chord, but we're getting somewhere. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So this is our baseline. Very simple eighth notes, but I think it fits because there's a lot of other rhythmic stuff going on. I'm hearing something here. What if this changes a little bit? If it's not right on the beat, or right on the one beat, you can change up your bass line a little bit, and it'll usually sound good. Or it won't lose that bass frequency. So let's just mirror this note. I don't know if I'm feeling like the eighth notes are working. What if we try something a little groovier? I think that might fit more on this project. So let's see what our rhythm is to see how we can groove. Okay, mostly eighths, but it starts with a little jump there. So what if we mirror that jump in the bass? And just hang on for a moment. I'll see if this works. We could even do multi-bar structure. Okay. Okay, I'm liking that. These are not quite as nice. This feels a little bit high up. Still pretty quiet. That's sounding about right. So let's grab this. What if we push it down? And what's our low note? Oh, that's very low. Too low for a bass to play. At least for an electric bass. So that's kind of cool. That's like a really wide interval, but let's see if it works. That's giving it a nice contour. I really like that. And in the effort of not wasting too much time fiddling around, let's move on to a different element. So we can always do the same thing as last time on the guitar. It's okay, I want a little more. So turn up the drive. Now it really has some presence, and then we're going to turn the gain down. Right, now it's a little bit thinner. Now let's open up the tone. And I'm just doing this to ear. Okay. I'm not loving in these chord sections. There's the piano section and the guitar section. I want a little more contour to these. So the obvious choice is an inversion. That actually sounds pretty cool. But I think there could even be more we can do with it. Cool, it's a little much. So if you solo this, it's about the same, but you can see we're playing this inverted. So it's a fourth, right? But if we throw in our bass note, and we don't have a bass playing at the moment, but that actually may be a problem. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's an opportunity. Let's see. What if we throw the bass, throw B
down as the bass note. I think if we put our bass line over this section, this part will really open up with no bass, and then it'll go back in with bass. So
nice. I want a little more of this, so let's turn it up. And what if we start? This is going a little off the rails here, so buckle up. What if we play B here? I don't know. Does it work?
I don't love it. I think it's better on E. So now we're still playing an E chord. That's pretty stable. And inversion would be probably a strange choice for the first chord. Let's see. We have piano going. These are just doubling. The strings look like, what are the strings playing?
Ah, looks like it's playing.
I want to change this. Back here. I like these little figures in the strings that I think add some energy.
And let's tighten that up so we get a little more space. Should we try switching these to staccato? Oh, I don't have staccato on here. That's okay. That would have sounded nice, but no, it's okay. And yeah, let's go with that. So it looks like this element repeats. This string figure. There, and there, and there.
Another thing I noticed, I don't mean to bounce around too much. You can see how my brain works. But I think you can see everything's stereo pan center. Let's see if we can mess around with the stereo a little bit. So let's copy the guitar, pan those out, do that on a lot of things, and I think we'll have to turn them down a little bit. Yeah, those are pretty loud. Now we can really hear the middle. Let's see, should we put the strings? I like things very balanced. So let's see if we can do the strings and the piano the same width on either side. So both just a little bit of a 20%. So splits up a little bit. And I want to turn the strings up actually a little bit. Let's see, what's the articulation on here? Do we dare turn them all the way up to here? I think that works. Oh, we need a fill there. That's pretty lame. That transition. We need more transition there. Let's bring in a fill. There we go. Yeah, let's do a kick. And what do we play here? It's just that shape. So we'll bring in the third one right there, and let's see if this works. How about more like that? Okay, and then I want maybe a crash. There's a cool trick. Okay, it's not a trick, it's a feature. These drums. This particular set that is native to GarageBand has really loud cymbals, which is really nice if you have a super full mix. I don't have a huge mix here. There's not a lot of like really distorted guitars or anything. There's a little bit, but it has a really high tone, so it cuts through things really well. I love the kit, but you can see by adjusting this knob, I can just turn down the cymbals, but keep the rest of the kit in good shape. So
right, just a nice section transition. Yeah, there we go. And what do you say we bring the bass in? Bass feels a little loud. I have a quick fix for that. Let's turn down the velocity so it's not too hard. Nice. Yeah, seems like the panning actually sounds okay. Is the panning bothering anyone? I may have mentioned this before, but I'm very sensitive to panning, so if things are off balance, it gets on my nerves. Let's see. We could split this guitar out. I want the guitar to be pretty present in the mix, so let's just do something really simple. Grab this, copy it, on each copy, turn it way down. That's a little bit much. That's a little bit much. So let's keep it there. How's that? And this duplication is just to make sure that we have a nice stereo field. So these are on the right and left, and let's do a little more right and a little more left so that it feels wide in the mix, and then the middle one to make sure it sits in the middle too. Actually pull a kind of a fun trick. I like things to start on the left and move to the right for some reason. There. It's very subtle, but you can hear this note on the left, this one on the right, this one on the left. just a fun little detail. And then we'll have to duplicate that manually. Got that. Oh, I'll drag that in too. And this one looks like it's just the one in the middle. So clearing those out.
For those of you listening, do you have any suggestions for what to do next? Because there are a lot of elements going into this, but I'd be happy to take suggestions too for what you hear. They could be like, this section, it's missing something, or has too much, or just a random idea. I'd love to try it out. It's always a process of experimentation to see what sounds good and what fits.
There we go. Okay. And then what do we do? Oh, it's just a single note. Oh no, I'm not going to have to. I'm going to have to do it again. Oh well. Oh, and this is an inversion. Really low on the guitar. That's nice. Actually not loving this. It feels like too many separate instruments. So let's bring these single notes on the bottom over to this one. So it just gets a little bit of stereo on it. And then we can just delete these on this side. And that ought to work. And trim those down just for space. We don't, you wouldn't actually have that note sustaining on a guitar because you would be playing the strings actively while doing that. So, and these go really low. These are like strums that are just really low on the keyboard. Since it takes some work to make guitar strums in MIDI, you can do it, but kind of a cool feature where you can set up a flam to work with you. Oops, lost part of it. There we go, nice. And what's that? What's our harp doing? Okay, cool. And what if we bring in the bass at this moment?
Whoa, okay, so that really makes that moment feel larger. And then I want to emphasize these strums and have no subdivided notes going on anywhere else, and I want to see where that is. I think it's down here. So just getting rid of only those.
And could we even bring it a little bit earlier? This could even, you know, this could be the beat for the whole song. Or a duplicate. Nah, that's not right. And the bass is hitting all the right spots. I'm gonna make sure. Can we bring these any lower? No. Well, it's okay.
Technically you can, but again, I like making it so it sounds like it's played by an actual instrument, and if you go too much lower than that, you can get it like down tuning really low, but that's annoying. I'd prefer to keep it in the range of a normal bass. Plus, you know, the higher up frequencies on bass are pretty nice. So let's pop over to the below the surface piano. I want a little more contour in this. If we do a tritone, that's really weird. Fun, but really weird. Let's try the inversion, like on the guitar. I want this. What are we playing up here? We're playing the third. Why not try the third? I'm still figuring this out. Ah, that's a little more contour. Actually, a reverse of the guitar. What if we even add a little more flavor by throwing in this G to make it a sixth interval? Nah, the voice leading is all wrong. Keep it like that. Alright, so where else could we put the bass line in? I like this being pretty thin. Although we could do some legato notes. It's just like a nice open notes. So
We could keep the groove. We push it up the octave, so and not do all of that motion. So just pull it down. And then duplicate that. So we just have a little bit of bass motion going. Sweet, that's kind of nice. What if we even go higher? And less subdivisions. Those are the number of times the note is played, basically, or to put it simply. So like 2 subdivisions, 1 subdivision, and then now it's down to 3 subdivisions. So and what if this goes higher? To a 5th, maybe? This is so high up, it's not really playing bass notes. Not bad. And it could even just go for 2. Wow. That's not bad. And let's see where our... we only have half steps. Here, I kind of wanted to put one here, but we won't mess with the rhythm too much, because that'll throw things off. So it's kind of a nice break, but kind of a jump. And but then that's messing with this a little bit. Strings have kind of not a very strong attack on them. Sometimes you have to bring them a little bit earlier for them to attack when you want. A little less. Kind of have to do it by ear. I think that'll work.
This section feels very thin. I want to thicken it up and layer the toms with a kick. It's a handy trick. There we go. And then we have a little stutter there. Sweet. We need a crash there to really energize it. And another one, maybe? Going all out. Investing all of our stocks in crashes. And what if we even... The guitars, I'm kind of hearing the guitars a lot in the left, so let's just put the crash on the right. Yeah, it's the right crash. I want this harp to chill out a little bit. And I think a subtle way to do that will be with the velocity. Grab the velocity, and it's only going to work on one section, which is a little bit annoying. And I'm doing it the wrong way around. Anyway, let's just join them. That'll be easier to work with. Select all of them. Find a low point. How about? Oh, that's annoying. There we go. Okay, like 30, and then these are at 98 for some reason. So feeling like that guitar sting is kind of, I'm expecting more guitar and then it doesn't go into guitar. Anyway, the thing I was doing here is just these get quieter as they go along. So it's like a instrumentalist fade out. And then jumps back in. And let's actually just delete all of this section so we get a really nice jump there. If we get rid of the guitar entirely. And I'm gonna try something I enjoy. I'm gonna go to quarter notes. I'm gonna try to design a slide so we can slide into the next section. And oh wow, those work perfectly. Moving down from the 6th. It's a little slow. It's okay. That's the best I can program it. It works a lot better recorded, but that's okay. You can hear it. It sounds pretty silly if you solo it. Just gonna warn you. Let's see if there's a way to fix that, actually. Start by tightening it up a little bit. These could be shorter. Make these a little shorter. There are smarter ways to do this, but I'm gonna do it the fast way. I don't know. I can hear it in my mind, but I'm not seeing it on the screen. So that's okay. Oh, wait, okay. I have a different idea. You can slide up and down. And what I think I'm hearing is to do both. So we'll start by going up and then go down the scale. So line, oops, there we go. Line that one up. I'm gonna confess there's probably an easier way to do this, but I'm gonna do it manually for fun. There we go. And 2 more. And it looks like we'll be able to start on E, our root note. So, ooh, is that silly? Okay, I have a completely different idea. This isn't working. I want to take out all of the bass. So, first off, that should be trimmed down. Secondly, push this. Aha! This is what I'm looking for. We're very zoomed in. We have a hit on this bass. I want it to just feel very stark. And maybe even no notes there. Kind of a staccato stab. You don't really have staccato on piano. I don't think, but... Or or even nothing. Okay, and this fill is so crazy, I don't know if it... I think this is supposed to be on a snare. Hello!
Is that a little better? Or maybe this should go like that.
Ah, there we go. Now we have some energy. It's a really fast fill. Would anyone be able to play this? Okay, obviously someone could play it. Would I ever be able to play it? Maybe not. Let's actually just see what it's doing. I'm going to slow it down.
Whoops. To half the speed.
Okay, not a complicated pattern. You know what? It's programmed for a reason. Let's leave it in. And then just trim this sustain a little bit. Alright, not bad. Let's see. I should probably wrap up soon. There was something perhaps it's ambitious, but I feel like the track could get even more energy if I could put some hi-hats over this, which was something I was not familiar with. So let's just start with eighth notes, right? Pretty basic. I think I like the slightly more open sound.
Too much.
And let's see where we can find some space.
Maybe there.
Ooh, could even emphasize that offbeat. Maybe not. Oh, that's kind of nice. And then when we go here, I want it to get a little more stark. Could even drop this out. Okay, there we go. And how could... Ooh.
Not quite.
Hey, thank you! We're actually just wrapping up, so I'm going to play through the full track in just a moment if you'd like to hear it. Oh, cool. I'll have to check that out. A lot of the first album in particular is inspired by Antimo and Wells. If you know them, they're probably best known for the Minecraft Story Mode soundtrack. Not the Minecraft soundtrack, which is pretty legendary, but not what I'm talking about. The Story Mode soundtrack is also really awesome. And it has kind of this like acoustic guitar feel. So I think these hats can just go over here. That's too much.
Okay, there we go. fill that up a little bit. Feels a little hot. Ooh, we could do toms over it. Oops. And what if we even up the ante a little bit and do double time hats? One of my favorite things. And I think we'll just cut out the ones on crash and on the snares. And that's not it. I think we're looking for something more like that. Aha! That is more like it. The groove. And let's listen to it soloed. And to add even a little more, let's do an open hat every once in a while. These could even be open, and then just do some quick closes. Okay, now that's maybe a little busy. I'm liking the groove. I think I want to put these a little more on the left, actually. There we go. I want a little more space for this fill, so let's cut out some elements. If you want more space, you have to remove elements. So what do we drop? Let's keep the strings, keep the guitars, lose the bass. And how about the piano? And let's do crashes half as frequently. Whoops. And should we do a crash at the end? No. Should we do the harp at the end? Okay, let's listen through this and just think of any spots that we can add to. These harps need to come down a little bit. There we go. Okay, I'm going to interrupt the final listen, semi-final listen. If we flatten this out, it'll open up more when the bigger part kicks in.
It'll be easier to listen to when we listen to it all together. So I got new width to it. Let's actually widen these a little more so we get more mileage out of our space, and I don't think we'll have to turn them up. I wonder, we could even do it. I don't have any kicks under this new. Ooh. That's a bit much. Okay. Take 2. Listen through. Going to interrupt again. Widened out the strings. I think that'll help give it even more width. You know, it's everything. Let's actually take this. This could do a little figure that the harp is doing, I think only once in the song, back here. Just gently. And let's turn it down with velocity. I don't know if that works. Hey, yeah. This one actually won't have vocals. This whole project is instrumental, but I am working on some vocals for different songs, so you may be waiting a long time, but they're in progress. I'm going to keep making progress and cross my fingers they eventually are worth finishing, or are worth being finished.
Silence. That's okay. Sweet. I think we made some excellent progress here. We have some stereo, we have some copies, we have a bass line, some nice inversions. Yeah, those are inversions. New drum part. I think we made some great progress for an hour. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had something to take away from it. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll stick around for a little bit if you'd like. And if you don't, it's fine, and we can be done. And make sure to tune in next week when we're moving on to Cave Theme, which I think will have some less like musical work to. Okay, it's all musical work. It'll have more to do with the production and the sound rather than, just adding adding new elements to it. It's very sparse and it's a very simple song, but I really like the build of it. So I think adding to the atmosphere, the texture is going to be crucial, and that'll be what we're working on. So, yeah, that'll be next week. It seems everything is in order. Thank you again, everyone. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but I am remastering all my work. So if you like what you hear, it's all on my YouTube channel right now. We were working a journey theme today. That's the second track on Sound Equals Concept 1. So, thank you so much, and I'll see you next week.